All right. What's going on, y'all? This is Mr. Taper's Barber Life. We in the building with a very, very special guest, a longtime friend of mine, one of the top barbers in the game. And I just want to welcome to Mr. Taper's Barber Life, my man, Big Rob. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, big dog? Long time no see. It's good to hear from you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm glad I had a chance to catch up with you because I know you got a lot of good stuff going on with you. But let's start from the beginning, man. Where are you from?
I am from Des Moines, Iowa. Grew up
O-
in a small town called Fort Dodge, but spent most of my life here in Des Moines.
Okay. Now that's for somebody like me from New York. I had never met anybody from Des Moines. Okay. So it was crazy when I met you. And then when we came out to the event, the Clash of the Clippers, I'm not expecting to see that many black people, but shoot, there was a lot of black people at that event, boy.
Yeah, it was. You was talking
Crazy.
about so the first one you came to was the Midwest Barber
Yeah,
Style
yeah,
Explosion.
yeah, yeah. That's what
Yeah,
it
so that
was.
was more like, putting on the hair shows for the women and
Uh huh.
then Clash of the Clippers is more for the barbers, But
Okay.
I couldn't leave that part out with the women with the Midwest barber style. It's an explosion, so I had to
Right.
combine it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. So tell me, what made you decide to become a barber, especially
Man,
you know. Go ahead.
well, it all started with my father bringing a pair of home with Clippers, and back where I'm where I was born at in a small town called Fort Dodge, we didn't have no barber shop, so
Oh,
uh,
shoot, in the whole
you know,
city.
yeah, it was no barber shop, so it was just basically go over a friend house or, either my dad to cut my hair. But once I got those pair of clippers, I was
Hmm.
able to experiment with myself, my younger brothers, and I'm an artist, so of course, I'm gonna do the initials in their head, and it kind of started from that point. When I touched those clippers that my dad brought home.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. First question: what made you stay in Des Moines? Because I know, a
Yeah,
lot,
so
yeah, a lot of people would have moved out after,
you are totally right. I did leave. I left. Uh, Matter of fact, I
Mm.
was I was in barber school when I left. You know, and even
Oh.
before when I came in to Des Moines, I had an opportunity to leave and go out to North Carolina and live with my brother, but
Hmm.
that didn't happen. So what happened was they had this program down here called Independent Living.
Hmm.
It was like a group home for kids. So
Hmm.
basically, you go through like a phase one, phase two is to make a long story short. They put you in your own housing while you're in school. So uh,
Okay.
when I started school down here and I had my own place while I was in high school, I always had a pair of clippers. So I started cutting people at school, my teammates, and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So after school, I was trying to figure out what to do with my life. So I went to barber school and I had dropped out and I quit to move to Charlotte. So when I
Okay.
moved out to Charlotte, I was like, yeah, I'm tired of Iowa. And I always wanted to leave Iowa, but,
Hmm.
I had to come back and finish up school. So
Okay.
when I did that, it was really, uh,
Wait, how many hours did you need to finish up?
oh, we needed 2,100 hours to finish school here.
Okay.
So
So when you came back, how many hours did you need?
I needed like about 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
So
you was going to school full time when you came back?
Yeah, not when and before I left, I was going full time. So basically, school would be from like 8 in the morning to like 5.
Okay. Now, see, a lot of people, they don't, you hear people all the time say, yo, I want to go to barber school. I want to be a barber. But they don't know the sacrifice because you got to be in school from 8 to 4, 8 to 5. And when you in school, you ain't making no money. You know
Right.
what I mean? So you got to tell yourself, yo, this is what I really want to do. I got to do what I got to do, work nights or whatever. But, talk a little bit about that sacrifice, man.
Man, that was definitely experience. Uh, yeah, like you said, it was 8 to 5. Basically, we made our money off of tips. So like back then, 2000, 2000 what? Yeah, around 2099. You know,
Mhm.
if you was bringing home like 40, 50 bucks, 80 bucks home in dollar tips, you get about 2 3 haircuts after school. That's ten
Mhm.
dollars that's $30. So if you could push 100 a day, you was able to get through. And there were times
Okay.
where I had to go get a job and stuff like that. But um I
What
think that's
job?
what
What job were you working back then?
I was doing little odd jobs. I was working at the restaurants in between, and I was able to fortunately build up a clientele. So what helped me got through on that second shift of my while I was in school was I was able to go back home to my hometown. So
Mhm.
I would sometimes take a day off, like a weekend, every other weekend, Saturday, and go up there and cut on Saturday and Sunday. And
Mhm.
I'll be cutting. Uh, I think I was doing the kids, like the little kids, for $5 and adults for 10. But
Oh,
I was able to walk away with $200 300.
oh,
You know what I
shoot!
mean? So
Damn, you was
two three hundred
rolling.
dollars back then, while you're in school was good. Then I was able to
Yeah.
build up a clientele. Um, Towards my end of the school, I was able to build a clientele at the school. So I would go to school from 8 to 5. Then after 5 o'clock, I would cut. At my godmother's house from
Mm.
5 to like 11 or 12. And while I'm cutting, she's in there cooking burgers, selling them to the clients. So, and this was like a
Damn.
friend of her family, but they ended up becoming like like they took me in to why while I was in school. That's how I was able to get through school through them. And
Okay.
hey, we're still call each other brothers and sisters. But without them, I don't know how I would have made it. And I tell my sister that now. She knows the story, but the rest of them I really don't. I need to tell them that. Thank you.
Right.
You know,
They'll know now.
right.
But check it. Do you have any clients that were with you when you were in barber school that's still with you now?
Yeah, that's crazy. As
Man,
today, yeah, I still have, and it's more like locked in now. Like a real relationship.
right.
Like
About how many could you say
man,
20-year clients? How many 20-year clients you got?
I could say, to be honest, like as today, like right now, and I've been doing a lot of moving around, so I've been like neglecting my clients. But I would
Okay.
say about a good solid 4.
Okay. Yeah, I had two, but now I'm down to one because during
Yeah.
COVID he grew his hair out. But
Mm.
you ever stop to think like, yo, this dude been with me from day one?
And you know what? Those clients right there, I tell them, I'm like, your grandfather. Then you just, I don't even tell them. And they like, what I owe you? I'm like, whatever you want to give me, man.
Right. And
Because
that's what I
it's
do.
not. It's not even about that. It's more about building a legacy, like man, this
Right.
person been with me. And I had one client just dropped off because he said, Rob, I've been with you since on the porch. And you know what I'm saying? I should be getting way better treatment than this. You know what I mean? And he was right. You know what I mean? Because he just literally just started growing his hair out to dreads. But
Oh, okay.
yeah. And that just happened about a year ago. I really stopped. I haven't really been cutting his hair, and I lost a lot of my clients really because it's like what's happening right now is like really forcing me to not cut. You know what I mean? Like when you're running uh, three shops with 35 to 40 barbers with 40 different personalities, and
Right.
what comes with that. Then on top of that, your own life,
Right.
you know, then with the hair shows and stuff like that, I had to slow down on that because it was just like I see it,
Damn.
I see it, and I don't want to let it go, but sometimes you got to step back. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So you don't run out of gas. Because
That's
sometimes
true.
those shows could be expensive. One of my shows ran out to be like 48,000. And
Damn.
I asked myself, I be looking like, how did I pull that off? But like when you hungry for something and you want it to happen,
Right.
eh, you'll go make it happen. It's crazy. It's just like
Right.
when you want that first car,
Yeah.
you go get it. You gonna make it happen. So
Okay. Okay. Well, let me talk about. You can't talk about Big Rob without talking about the designs. And first, let me say, I still gotta give you props because you don't have to cut hair at all, and you still take the time. I don't care if it's one day or I don't care if it's 1 hour a week. You still cut hair a little bit, right?
yeah, yeah, I love it.
Yeah. See, I like that because and there's nothing wrong with it, but I hear other barbers, they say, man, I ain't trying to cut hair, when I'm 40 or, I'm not trying to cut hair all my life. Not that that's what you're trying to do, but the fact that you still love it after cutting for over 20 years, you the type of dude that I know I could get along with somebody like you. You know what I'm saying? So tell me this. When did you start your designs? Because your design skills are crazy.
That was there before the cutting. Um,
Okay.
so the design game, because I was an artist, so it was easy for me to look at a picture and duplicate it and give it that same look, and using the hair as a canvas to
Hmm.
create that art. And now, like, from way back then to now, it's like, whoo, you
Right.
on some old outer space. Like it's the door. There's so many different levels of it right now. Like I don't even know where to start or begin because now we can allow color, paint, you name it. Like
Right.
you can use just anything, and I, like
Have you taught any design classes?
yes, yes, yes. I did one last year. I did quite a few classes. Um, I did
Man,
the hair unit class. I did on just I did an art design class and. Just how to
man.
build your clientele up, just basing on all the points of being a professional barber.
Right. You should take that class nationwide, bro.
And
Because
you
I
know
know a
what,
lot
that's
of
the thing
barbers
too.
would sign up for it.
Yeah, I know. I just, sometimes when you just put so much on the plate, you try to figure out what's the best moves and stuff like that. So now I'm just kind of like, falling back and putting stuff in order and, focus on what's most important and kind of just
Okay.
not try to open up so many books and so many different chapters and just try to complete one
Right,
so
right,
I can finish it out strong. And I
right.
always been like that. But now I'm understanding, like, especially at my age, like, you can take control of your life anytime you want. It's really up to you how you want to put it in order. You just got to do it, and
Right,
remove all the distractions out the way.
right. Well, when I first met you, you only had one shop. So tell me, what was it, or when did you decide to open a second shop? Like, was it something like y'all got so busy that you had to, or what was it?
It was quite a few reasons. One was uh, at one point we were getting, at one time it was really like a black man's country club. You know what I mean? It was that,
Right,
like
right,
any other culture was afraid to come into our establishment. We were like, young black kids, and it was just the environment of that time, and our clientele was that, you know what I mean. So it was like, all right, don't go there. That's that's drug related. We was called everything, and it's funny now because now when I look back and see so much growth and just
Uh-huh.
see so many different walks of life come through. But what made me want to open up another shop was because we started getting so many different walks of life in that shop. So, and I'll give you an example right here. One day we're having a conversation in the shop, and this is one of the reasons why I don't really talk about politics and religion because it could get kind of touchy. But
Yeah.
anyways, we had somebody in there that was Catholic. There was somebody in there that was Muslim, Christianity, but it was all different cultures. And when I say all different cultures, I don't mean just like the states. It was like one brother was from Afghanistan, the other person was from China, so he was Buddhist, and it was like really going down. And you had the Muslim, Catholic, and the Christianity, and I
Uh,
just then we'll have the officers, we'll have the judges up in there. Uh,
oh,
then
shoot.
the judges would be up in there, and he did put this brother cousin in jail or the PO officer, so there's situations where I had to
Oh,
get in,
shoot.
interfere and break it up, you know what I mean? And it was just the as far as rivals in the street, they'd be bumping heads. And so
Damn.
I was like, I'd open up a shop. Matter of fact, I had opened up two shops and they both fell. Um, so the
Mm.
third one that I opened up after that, it was really a challenge for me because it was in an area to where there was no other business open. So, but the
Mm-hmm.
rent was at a good price. It was low.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, let me shoot my shot. And it was an upscale. We had put a bar up in there, and and
Was it hard getting a liquor license?
no, because it was free beer.
Oh, okay, okay.
So you get a haircut with a bit, with a glass of beer, free water, little things like that.
Okay.
Uh, but that
That's
was
a
a
good
challenge for
idea.
me because the first 6 months was tough. You know what I mean? Because we're now on the main street. We're in the
Mm.
back of town center. You know,
Uh-huh.
and it took a while for us to get people to know where we're at. You know what I mean? So, but now 4 years later, there's 15 chairs filled up.
Oh,
Got a great
shoot.
system that I have to where everybody's able to create a clientele and everybody's eating. And I tell them, I say, I'm not in excellence until we're all in excellence. So I'm always striving to be better because, back then during the Black Country Club, you know, it was that, you know what I mean? Just like how we see it in the movies. But now, things are different now. You know
Right,
what I mean? So
right,
it ain't no really many walk-ins. And if you want a good service, you're gonna have to set up a point, you know.
right.
And it's a big difference from 10 to 15, $20 to now 50, 60, 70, 80, $100. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So if you're gonna be charging somebody over $60, you have to create the look on
Right.
how you look, on how you talk, your consistency. And when I say consistency, I'm talking about everything. You know what I mean? On your service, your cuts, how do you look? How do you look? How did the customer look when you turn around to your station and how you look at your station? What did your station look like? You know?
Right. Right.
So,
That's
back then, and it was so raw when I first opened up because customer service wasn't there. You know what I mean? Because nobody teaches how to run a business. So I had to go through the hard way, through the bumps and curves. And, at one point it was weird. Like you see, hey, how you doing today? How can I help you? And you got the other brothers that were like, he being extra today, But no, they didn't
mm,
understand the value of how important customer service was.
right, right.
A white person come in, it's like, oh, he trying to be an Uncle Tom, and you know what I mean? No, it's
Uh,
business.
right,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? And it was just different, you know what I mean, back then. Like, and when we started making that transition, I had this one barber come into our shop, and it was just different because he was greeting all the clients, and he made everybody get out of their shell because they wasn't used to that. They was just used to speaking to their own.
Mm-hmm. Where was
So
he from?
he was from Cedar Rapids, which
Okay.
was like 2 hours away from there. But when he
Okay.
came in, he changed the game because he was doing the towel experience, putting the hot towels, the different
Hmm.
oils on your face, and everybody looking at him like he trying to show up. But no, he's just showing y'all what type of services y'all missing,
Hmm.
making people feel good and making people feel comfortable.
Is he still there?
No, he got his own shop now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, that's first of all, I gotta give you props. I thought you only had two barbershops. You got three. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's very challenging. It's a lot easier to run one or two shops, and the third one um, was all right too. But then when you run into that bump and that challenge, or you get three,
Mm,
four people that leave, and then you got somebody that's backdooring you down, you got to know how to move without getting your feelings. And sometimes that's hard because, you know,
right.
you don't see it coming or you expect it. And then you ask yourself, like, we're not like that. You should be able to feel free to talk about anything. If anything, like me, I want to see everybody successful, even if you're
Right.
not with me or not. You know what I mean? Because if you leave
Mm,
on good terms, that makes me look good as, you know, a shop owner. Like, well, where did you start from? You know, oh yeah, I worked at Rob Shop. So
mm,
it's always good to see people, get to a point to where they're able to, spread their wings, and but sometimes it don't ever go good. It goes, it either could go sour or it could go good.
right. Right. Yeah. That shoot. What was I gonna say? Shit. Well, let me say this. Oh, I thought I talked to a barber a couple of years ago about having an organization for shop owners because there are a lot of issues barbers they just don't know about. And just like you just told me what you went through, I literally went through the same thing 2 years ago. I had a barber, he didn't he just had a bad attitude and he was opening his own shop and I was just like, yo, please hurry up and open your shop and get out of my shop. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
and the thing about it, I literally helped this dude get his license. I literally went over the videos with him and I went to the state board with him. He forgot his clippers, okay? I rushed to Target just to get him some clippers so that he could take in the state board. And in the end, he ends up with this. Once he got his license, all of a sudden it was this bad attitude, and But my point is, shop owners, we need like some sort of just group where we could just talk about stuff that has happened to us. You know what I mean? Because if I tell that to a barber, I mean he'll understand, but he won't really understand like another shop owner.
It's,
You know what I mean?
when you're coming from a boss point of view and having a conversation with the barber that rents chair, it's it's hard to have those conversations because they're coming from a mindset of renting chair. You know what I mean? And
Right.
their responsibilities is completely different than the the shop owner responsibilities. I just had a situation the other day to where, I was explaining to someone about, you know, the chair rent, and they're in the expectations and stuff like that. And they was like, well, um, we're talking about cleaners, right? And one
Hmm.
of the barbers like, well, you have OCD. And I'm like, no, the shop needs to be cleaned out through the day. That's part of your job. Who you think is supposed to pick up the hair after you finish? You
Right.
know. And what happens is you get certain barbers that will pick up a broom and do a walkthrough. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? To where he might be sweeping somebody else's hair up. Well,
Right.
then you get some barbers that are lazy and take advantage of that.
Right.
And if you don't call it out, then it becomes kind of chaotic, you know. and to the point to
Mm-hmm.
where it becomes cancer in the shop.
Right.
And
Oh, yep.
then it went to the level like, well, when you're booked out, when do you have time to clean? I said, well, when do you take a break? You know,
Mm-hmm.
like, do we wait to the end of the day or the next day to come clean the bathroom if it's dirty? You know, do you want
Right.
your how do you rate yourself at a 4 or 5 star shop or business? You know what I mean? People rate you on your Google, but on how they see your business, you know?
Right.
And I tell them like this, you know, I got the no neck strip on the floor, right? So if you got a strip on the floor, you know, I'm first is nonverbal, I'm gonna give you the eye, you know what I mean? Then if
Right.
you know, like we shouldn't even be having this conversation because how would you like it if I went into the doctor's office and I seen the dentist's office, I seen all the slops that he, you know, that he took other people out doing on the floor, and I gotta walk
Right.
over that. You know, you should feel that same way about neck strips around people's hair, or just hair period. Who wants to walk on somebody's hair and travel it to their house? You know,
Right. Right.
then
And see,
then
that's
not even
what I'm
that.
saying. That's what I'm saying.
It'd be the little things, you know.
Yeah. And
And
that's
then everybody got this thing. I'm my own boss. You know, what does that mean?
right.
That means you're gonna pretty much work a little bit more hours. It's not you're your own boss. You can come when you go. You know, do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's what's happening with the barber shops now. Because back then, when we said we open up at 8, we close at 7,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't close at 7. We stayed there till about 9 or 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it was that good. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get this
Right.
money. You know what I mean? Those 20s will add up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
into a $600-700 day. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about no weekend. I'm just talking about a Tuesday, Wednesday type of thing. You know.
Mm.
So
Wow.
so now it's like I got barbers that'll come in at 12 and 1. Then they
Mm.
complaining at the end of the week, like, yeah, I'm like, look, man, you disrespecting the game and you disrespecting the business because there's people that already started their day 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and here you are waking up at 12, and you want something great to come out of that.
Right.
Then it's so wicked now because now we got social media and there's so many people out here throwing their best highlights of their week, not the day, of the week,
Right.
and shooting it out there like they're doing this every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Yep.
don't know like what's authentic, and that's why we got a relationship today because we was out there before all that.
Right.
If you
Right.
wasn't out there and you don't know Barbers Only magazine and you know like you missing a whole different layer of sauce.
Right.
You know
Yep.
what I mean? And
Yep.
you know, the people right now, I'm not taking nothing away for them, but you know, they was able to be blessed overnight.
Mm.
You know, like who are you? Where you come from? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, but there's tons of them. You know, but there's also authentic, original people like yourself, and you know, the Doug Flavors and G Wiz, and you
Mm.
know,
Right.
like that. You know, even when it comes to us, we didn't water our own self down.
Right.
The
Right.
black barbers. You know what I mean? It's sad. When I go to
Mm-hmm.
these shows, I don't see us there. I see my Latino brothers,
Oh
and
yeah.
I can't even be mad at them. You
Nah.
know, I can't at all. You know, because they hungry for it.
Yep. Yep.
But you know, like I remember going to the Bronner Brothers, and it was like, woo, this got to be like heaven or hair.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Like just seeing like on a big stage, 20,000. You know, and being
Mm.
able to work backstage
Mm-hmm.
was sick. You know, like I was just telling my girl the other day, I was like, that's one of the things I want to do before I put my clippers down is to get on that stage.
Okay.
And I'm this kid from Iowa, like, who, you know, and I got so many, you know, I didn't work with some of the best people. So, you know,
Right.
Tyreek, you know what I mean? G
Mm-hmm.
Wiz, Doug Flavors, you know, DL, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
these guys, I didn't see them rock this stage. And,
Right. Right.
and that's where a little bit of the motivation came from me doing the hair shows.
Okay.
And I felt like I brought that here to Iowa because of the shows being inspired by the Proud Lady, being inspired by Um, the Bronner brothers, uh, Glenn. What is it?
Oh
Glenn
yeah,
Burns?
yeah. I
OG
forgot
Glenn.
about
I just seen him on a poster how they're bringing back all the highlight people, but
uh
just even getting an award from him, the Barber of the Year, like out of Virginia, what I mean?
Okay.
Like just being noticeable and getting recognized through different parts of the country, not before social media. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it was different. You know what I mean? To people
Mm-hmm.
notice you like through a magazine or something like that. Not the internet because we didn't really have that. We had MySpace,
Yeah, yeah. That's
and
crazy.
MySpace was like I feel like Facebook is a new version of MySpace.
Right, right.
And Twitter, is like Instagram. I wouldn't say Instagram, but you know where I'm going at. But
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. It's totally different. I mean, I ain't taking nothing from nobody because whatever works works.
right. It's
So
crazy because I say I could move to Iowa, don't know anybody, but if I come to work on time, leave late, and I'm real good with my social media, I could build up my clientele in like 90 days. Back in the day, we couldn't do that. We had to pass out flyers, like hardcore
and I
flyers.
still do. I still do. So last year when I opened up a couple years ago when I had my shop, I had put yard signs
Mm-hmm.
all over the city. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
just when I get in it, and I want to be creative. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do what everybody else ain't doing.
Right.
And I think that's what gave me an advantage of where I'm at today because I was one to go invest back into me, into my career, whether it was classes, whether it's educating, whether it was me going to all these shows, building these relationships, people like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, it carried weight. I could get on a phone call with anybody around the country and be like, yo, I'm putting on a show. I need you to hear. And it's just crazy, like, how much love I get outside the States and your
Oh
own
yeah.
your own backyard.
That's how it
But
rolls.
I love it though because that makes me go hard even more. Like I'm sitting there thinking like last year I didn't put on a show, because every show is I'd be like it'd be that. I'm working throughout the whole year, whether
Mm-hmm.
if I'm open up a new shop or whatever, some type of other project is going back on. But not on top of that, I'm also hitting all these other shows, passing out my info while I'm grabbing their info, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like a kind of thing. I come support you, come support me. So, and it's
Oh,
not, it don't even got to be down to that narrow, but just showing love. And when you do that, it's not hard to get that love back. So you
right.
just treat people how you want to be treated, and next thing you know, 10 years down the road, you didn't created something that you planted a seed a long time ago, and here you are, eating the fruits off of it. So that's why, I try to keep that alive. I be wanting to do it every year, but the way I do it, I do it like Browner Brothers, and even bringing the barber flavor to it. But
Mm-hmm.
it's really about that stage when those girls come out and put on a Broadway show with the props, costumes. You gotta have a dance routine, and
Right.
I'm like the director in the back, because I know the vision because I done been to multiple shows, and I'm like trying to take it to where I want to put it into uh, get content to where it could be its own show. And I think there's
Mm-hmm.
people that did it, but it's just about finding the right sponsorships and the right resources to make it happen. And that's why I gave you that call, a couple months ago, because I felt like, my man Curtis opened it up to where he did a tour around the whole country, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how he was able to promote his product, the
Mm-hmm.
exotics and stuff like that. But like coming from my point of view, me being an artist and me being a competitor and me being at every angle of it, I feel like I could bring a different angle at it, and that's why I came up with like, it's time for us to do a award show and
Mm-hmm.
have somebody like Mike Epps or Cedric and Tanner or Kevin Hart host that joint.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to think how much power that we have and who do we know and the connections and all that we have by just cutting somebody hair.
Right. Right.
So we all got connects. So, but I could just see that being hosted somewhere in Las Vegas. You know, like I'm not afraid to dream big no more. And I'm not afraid to take a risk. And you know, sometimes, like I said, I don't know how I put that show on it, but it started with a vision. You
Right,
know?
right,
When they hand me that bill, I got it paid.
right.
The least that building was like 20,000.
Oh shoot.
And so you know what it costs, like for the hotels, for the educators, and all those people who you want to come
Dang.
through, that you got to come out. So yeah, then we gave away what, $5,000 for the uh, for the
First
first
place.
place for the battles, but that's not even including the barber. That's just for the battle of the salon. So, and I
Mm-hmm.
always did rate. I never. And I'm thinking about doing it this time because how I'm going to do it, but I always kept the prize money big because like I said, I'm coming from that side of the field because I know what it costs. I
Right.
travel. By the time you get done with your plane ticket, the hotel, the food, and you got to take your model and take care of them. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so by the time you get done with doing that, that little $1,000, 500, because most of them are 500, not 1,000. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, it'd be, what is it about? Why are you doing it? You know what I mean? Is it
Right.
about the bragging rights, or is it about the trophies, or is it about the cash, or is it about you building a legacy, or are you trying
Right.
to do some kind? And back then, it wasn't. We didn't even have cameras out. We was taking pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
We was
Yep.
taking pictures. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's different, but I'm ready for. I try to stay up with the new trends and stay up with the new styles and just the
Mm-hmm.
new gadgets, the new tools, and all that. So, and it's
So do yo. Okay. We waiting for my man Big Rob to come back. He just got cut off. But what Rob is talking about, which is uh, which is really important when you putting on a show, you have to think of all the expenses that go along with it. Now, let's call Big Rob and see what happened because I think his battery might have died or something. Let me see here. Okay, so we'll wait for him to log back on. Let's see. Again. Okay. All right. While we're waiting for Big Rob to get back on, because we're having a really good interview. Um, Big Rob is the type of person when he has a vision for something, he is going to get it executed, and that's one of the things that I really admire about him. He takes a dream, he turns it into a vision, he turns the vision into reality, and that's what I really, really respect about him. So we're going to do a part two to this interview. And for those that have tuned in, thanks a lot. And I'll check y'all later. Don't forget, part two coming up soon.